Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to the Enlisted Promotion Board webinar, streaming live from beautiful San Antonio, Texas. I am Captain Brianna Jones, along with Mr. Dale Kinney, retired Chief Master Sergeant. We are recorders here at the Selection Board Secretariat, also known as the Promotion Board. We also have in attendance Technical Sergeant Robert Heipel and Staff Sergeant Xavier Valencia from Enlisted Promotions. This webinar was developed to provide insight on what happens in the boardroom. We believe if we are transparent, all airmen will be confident that they will compete fairly in the promotion process and can focus on what is important in our Air Force: to fly, fight, and win. The Selection Board Secretariat conducts selection boards for promotions to the grades of Major through Major General, Reserve General Officer boards, Force Management boards, and Enlisted Promotion boards to the grades of E7 through E9. This year alone, we have executed 63 boards for promotions to the rank of Major through Major General and boards for promotions for Master Sergeant through Chief Master Sergeant. We utilize the services of 50 General Officers, 92 Colonels, and 68 Chief Master Sergeants as board members. They have evaluated over 45,000 records, and we still have boards left this year. For today's briefing, we'll be focused on the Enlisted Promotion Boards. Historically, the Master Sergeant Board is a 4-week board, the Senior Master Sergeant Board is 3 weeks long, and the Chief Master Sergeant Board extends 2 weeks. As we move into the latter part of 2019 and then into 2020, the length of these boards will increase as we transition from enlisted evaluation boards to enlisted promotion boards. I'll explain a bit more about this ongoing transition in just a moment. In particular, we will spend a bit more time on inboard operations to explain the differences between evaluation and promotion boards. We are a 14-member team comprised of officers, enlisted, and civilians. Our promotion board chief is a colonel, and the chief of operations is a lieutenant colonel. We have 2 branches run by our very knowledgeable Air Force civilians who have over 50 years of boardroom experience. The board support branch handles all operations while the board is in session. These guys are really the wizards behind the curtain. The Special Boards Branch manages all officer special selection boards process for reconsideration for promotion as authorized by proper authority. Our technicians are 2 NCOs who assist with numerous daily administrative needs of the board members and staff. Finally, our certified recorders manage all the boards from cradle to grave, from working with all members on the board prior to their arrival to assisting the Enlisted Promotions Office as they outbrief results to the AFPC commander. Through April 2019, the Enlisted Promotion selection process contained 2 phases. First, a computer evaluation captured the objective factors such as PFE, Promotion Fitness Examination, SKT, Specialty Knowledge Test, and decorations, which accounted for 22 to 35% of the total score. And then the Central Evaluation Board provided the subjective factor, about 65 to 78% of the total score. Once these factors were combined, a total score was produced. These total scores formed an order of merit to which the Air Force applied the quota or percentage to generate the select list. It's important to note that board members did not know what an individual's objective score was. They simply scored the record on merit without benefit of that information. Beginning with the Chief Master Sergeant Board in October 2019, all enlisted evaluation boards will become enlisted promotion boards. Promotion tests and decoration points are being eliminated from the overall promotion score. The board score will now be the only factor utilized to determine promotion. So what authorities drive the Air Force Enlisted Promotion Board process? Great question. Let's talk about it. Here are our authorities to conduct enlisted boards. Unlike officer boards, which are guided by law, enlisted boards are guided by Air Force policy. Additionally, while on board, we work directly for the Chief of Staff, whereas during officer boards, we work directly for the SECAF. Title 10, Section 517 of the United States Code specifies that only 2.5% of the enlisted force can serve in grade of E8 and 1% for E9. Title 37, Section 201 of the United States Code specifies minimum number of enlisted years of service for each grade. DODI 1320.14 provides guidance on the Commissioned Officer Promotion Program. Although this instruction deals with the Officer Promotion Program, it also prescribes procedures for communication with promotion boards, applicable guidance for both officer and enlisted boards. AFI 36-2502, Airman Promotion Demotion Programs, provides policy guidance on enlisted evaluation boards. Additional guidance is provided by the CSAF's Foreman's Charge. The central stakeholder is the Chief of Staff of the Air Force. Under his authority, we convene all enlisted promotion boards. He also furnishes written guidance and instructions to the board in the form of a formal charge. Each formal charge is unique and based upon Air Force needs for that specific board. Items normally included are Air Force institutional values, the whole person concept, and highlights of any new changes to the enlisted promotion system. Previous CSAF's formal charges can be found easily on MyPERS by searching formal charge under Active Duty Air Force Enlisted in the search bar. While these boards are in session, we work directly for the Chief of Staff under the supervision of the board president. The board president will always be a general officer. Here is the panel construct for the CY18 Master Sergeant Board. We spread over 23,000 records between 14 panels consisting of 1 colonel with group command experience and 2 chief master sergeants from the 2 largest AFSCs scored by the panel. For example, a typical support panel would have 1 mission support group commander and 2 mission support chief enlisted managers. Each panel has designated AFSCs, which it scores, so that same 3 panel members score all the records from the same AFSC, as competition for promotion is within the AFSC. As stated previously, we also mirror the board membership based upon the eligible population in terms of minorities, women in command of assignment to ensure a broad range of experiences, leadership, and functional expertise. The board president is a non-voting member and is the CSAF's designated representative responsible to oversee the board members and the staff. Their job is to monitor the progress of the board to ensure it proceeds at a comfortable pace and in accordance with directives. They'll review records from each panel as board members finish scoring an AFSC. We will describe the board president's role in records review later in this briefing. Bottom line, the board president's primary task is to make sure all of those meeting the board receive fair and equitable treatment. Since you are unable to enter the boardroom today, we thought we might bring the boardroom to you. Let's put you in the seat of a board member. As you can see from the photo, the panels are broken up into groups of 3. The desks have the capability to raise and lower for comfort, and the computers have touch screens if the board members wish to use that feature. Our goal in the boardroom is to ensure we are compliant with all laws, instructions, and regulations, but also to ensure the board members are comfortable and confident when scoring records of our future Air Force leaders. On the first day of the board, the AFPC commander provides welcoming comments to our board members. After the AFPC commander's comments, the board chief and lead recorder for that board present our first day briefing, similar to the one you are hearing now. The board president also provides comments and then reads the CSAF's formal charge verbatim. Oaths are administered to both the board members and the selection board secretariat team to swear or affirm they will be fair and unbiased during the board. Our next step is to familiarize the board members with the Senior NCO selection record as seen in the Electronic Board Operations Support System, or EBOS. EBOS is the primary tool used to review and score records. Please note the scoring scale at the bottom of the screen. We will discuss this scale in more detail later in the briefing. As you can see, we have organized each individual's Senior NCO selection record into 3 sections, which we call stacks. Let's discuss these 3 stacks. In the left stack, board members find all the enlisted performance and training reports for the past 5 years, filed in chronological order with the most recent on top. Additionally, prior to implementation of static closeout dates, there may be training reports for those senior NCOs who attended the Air Force Institute of Technology. Board members may also find an Air Force Form 77 in the record. The Air Force Form 77 may be filed for one of 3 reasons. 1, to document a break in service. 2, to correct an administrative error. Or 3, to document an approved appeal action in place of the original evaluation. In the center stack, we will be talking about any Articles 15 that have been filed by proper authority. These remain on file for 2 years or after 1 Senior NCO promotion board. Courts-martial conviction orders are also located in the center stack and are permanently filed. In the majority of the cases, the first thing board members will see are citations or orders for all approved declarations organized in order of precedence. Finally, in the far right stack is the Senior NCO selection brief. This computer-generated 1-page snapshot of the Senior NCO's record tracks information such as date of rank, service dates, and duty history. Professional military education and academic education information may also be included depending on the board. Once board members are oriented to EBOS, we begin our training session, also known as trial run exercise. The trial run exercise allows board members to see the range of quality in the records and acquaint members with situations they may see during live scoring. The records selected as trial runs are records from a previous board who are not eligible for the current board. These members have been promoted, separated, or retired. Board members score these records by secret ballot without discussion. We ask them to take lots of notes because we facilitate an open discussion afterwards to discuss why they scored a record the way they did. This crosstalk allows board members to fine-tune their individual scoring standard. The ultimate goal of the trial run exercise is consistency. A record reviewed on the first day should receive the same score if evaluated later in the board process. The scoring scale used to assess the record ranges from 6 to 10 in half-point increments. A 7.5 represents an average record. After scoring begins, it's almost like a library inside the boardroom as scoring is independent and by secret ballot. A recorder must be in the room at all times. Recorders are available to answer questions about records, and usually it is clarifying data on the evaluation brief or tracking down a discrepancy in members' record. We stress the importance of taking breaks from scoring records, and we also limit scoring to 0745 to 1700 each day. Once a board goes into session, only those approved in writing are allowed in. As board members score, the Secretariat continually checks the scores given to any one record to ensure no significant disagreement or split occurs. A split in an enlisted promotion board is defined as a difference of 1.5 or more points by 2 or more panel members. In this example, Seat 2 gave a 6.5 and Seat 1 gave an 8. This is a split, and the record will come back out to the panel for discussion and resolution to within 1 point. To resolve a split, all panel members are present and all other scoring stops. Panel members will review the scores given. All panel members may discuss strengths and weaknesses in the record. However, the discussion must be based only on information found in the record. Certified board recorders oversee every split and ensure all information shared during the split resolution remains record-based and no personal information is shared. After all panel members have discussed the record, only the panel members directly involved in the split can change their scores. After initial scoring is complete, an order of merit for each AFSC is established. In this example, the AFSC being considered has a total quota of 39. An initial cut line is then drawn on the order of merit at the bottom of the score category, coming closest to filling the AFSC quota without exceeding it. A score category consists of all records having the same aggregate score, which is the total of individual scores determined by each panel member for each record. Since all scores are determined at half-point increments, a score category will normally represent a half-point spread in the order of merit. If the cut line is at a point where the number of cumulative records equal the AFSC quota, as depicted on this slide, this is referred to as a clean cut. In most cases, however, we do not have a clean cut. In this example, we'll use the same 39 quota for the AFSC being considered. As you can see, 35 of the quota have already been determined with the selects about the initial cut line in the order of merit. There are 9 records in the next score category, known as the gray zone, with 4 remaining quota or promotions available. The board president conducts a quality review of records near the cut lines and can add records to the gray zone for rescoring. At this point, board members will resolve the gray zone through additional rounds of scoring until all available promotion quota are filled. It's important to note that we spend a decent amount of time discussing communication rules with board members. As board members score records, some may find information viewed as important and want to share this with the other board members of the panel. Each board member was selected because of their individual background and the expertise they bring to the board. However, all board members must vote independently and by secret ballot, and we don't want one item in a record to influence an entire panel based on one board member's perceptions. Therefore, the Secretariat asks board members to run their thoughts by one of the recorders first before discussing them with other board members. Board members are not permitted to gather information from outside sources on an eligible member. The Air Force has promised its members that they will be aware of all information that meets the board. If a board member gathers information on the outside, we violate that promise. Board members can take notes in EBOS. Notes are a part of the board proceedings. Therefore, any handwritten notes are not taken outside the boardroom. Finally, board members should use the full scoring scale as intended and not drive splits, a difference of 1.5 points or more on the scoring scale, in order to generate discussion. This goes against the spirit and intent of the process. If the record does not split, then board members will not have given the individual record the score it deserves. Now, let's talk about the supplemental board process. Senior NCO supplemental boards are convened for the following 3 reasons. When a person was erroneously coded as ineligible for a board when in fact he or she was eligible, when a person met a previous board with missing or erroneous data, or when other criteria specified in AFI 36-2502 warrants a supplemental look, such as changes to EPRs or changes to high-year tenure dates. The Secretariat works with Enlisted Promotions to recreate the original board for the consideree. Benchmark selection is crucial to the success of supplemental boards. Considerees are compared to records from the original boards. This slide illustrates how to select benchmarks for an evaluation board. In this example, we have a Senior Master Sergeant with a 3F Personnel CEM code. We know for this particular CEM code, the promotion cutoff was 500 points, meaning for that year, you needed 500 total points to get promoted. In this example, Because this is after the testing cycle and public release of the Central Board, we know this applicant's weighted score was 105. So we subtract that 500 and discover that he or she needs to achieve a board score of 395 points to be promoted. The 395 points equates to a board score of 26.5, which is 395 divided by 15 and rounded up. The Enlisted Promotions Office at AFPC then looks at the original board's order of merit and uses 3 records with the board score of 26.5, referred to as the plus benchmarks. They also use 3 records at half points below at 26, referred to as the minus benchmarks. These 6 records become the benchmark records for this case. Please keep in mind that it doesn't matter whether the benchmarks were selects or non-selects on the original board. What is important is the member's board score. With the new promotion board, the Enlisted Promotions Office will identify benchmark records for future supplemental boards. 3 records from among the lowest scored selects and 3 records from among the highest scored non-selects are identified. Copies of these records stored for future use. During all supplemental boards, board members do not know which records are benchmarks nor which records are considered reads. Let's see how this all plays out in a typical case. These procedures apply to both evaluation and promotion supplemental boards. The considered reads records will be compared against 3 plus benchmark records and the 3 minus benchmark records previously described. The benchmark records are labeled A through F for ease of illustration. For this case, the board scored the records as shown in the right-hand column. Consider read number 1 is a select because he or she scored 27 and beat all the minus benchmarks, and beat or tied at least one of the plus benchmarks. But consider read number 2 is a non-select because he or she did not beat all the minus benchmarks. You can avoid a supplemental board by ensuring that your records are accurate. In fact, one of the important messages we want to leave with you here today is the importance of records accuracy. So how does an airman ensure their records are correct when meeting the board? We ask that you log into MyPERS. Click on View My Records. This will then send you to AFPC Secure. Click OK and verify your credentials. Once in AFPC Secure, select the product link. Click on the product link. We then ask you to click on the selection folder link. Open your selection folder, which will contain all documents meeting your upcoming board. If you are missing any documentation or need items updated, please work with your local MPF. It is ultimately the member's responsibility to ensure his or her records are accurate prior to meeting a board. We want to leave you with the assurance that the Air Force's promotion system is indeed extremely fair and equitable. It does, however, require you to be engaged. We encourage you and your subordinates to review your records periodically, but especially before a promotion board. Remember, you as eligibles and supervisors have a significant role in the process. Please take the opportunity to speak to the board through EPRs to ensure the best qualified senior NCOs are selected to be our future senior NCO leaders. Here's how to contact us. It appears we have some time remaining to answer questions, so please take this opportunity to ask them, and we and our partners in Enlisted Promotions will answer them to the best of our ability. One administrative note, Colonel Paul Swinson from AFPC Promotion Board will be in the DCS chat answering questions concurrently.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our Facebook Live audience. I know they've been typing questions in already. At this point, please type your questions in the chat area, and we'll do our best to answer the majority of what we can answer today live. So please, if you're on Facebook, type your questions in the chat area. If you're on the webcast DCS, type your questions in the chat area, and we'll do our best to answer your questions live. Thank you.
All right, I see a question here. You still reference weighted factors when talking about supplementals. Under the new system, will the score you need just be the cutoff for the AFSC?
If you notice during the briefing, we gave two examples during the supplemental process. One of them was if you were recreating an evaluation board, and then one example was for a promotion board. So during our supplemental sessions in the future years, we will be recreating both evaluation and promotion boards. I see a question on the Facebook page. What panel category does Intel fall into? For all Air Force specialties, the classification chart dictates which area they fall into, and Intel falls within the operations area.
Do senior raters and force distributors for these promotion eligible airmen know when members submit a 1566A?
That's a great question, and our enlisted promotion policy people are going to take a look into that while we continue to chat, and hopefully we'll get back to you. I see a question on the Facebook page. If an EPR is missing from your PRADA, how much does that affect your board score? One of the key tenets for the EPR Air Force policy is that you must have your top SCOD, that's your static closeout date report, on top to be considered during the promotion board. So if your top report is missing, we will not score your record during the board. Instead, you will be referred to as the next supplemental process.
The file freeze for 1989 will be announced via the MyPERS at a later date.
See a question on the Facebook page. No longer testing under the new system. Will promotion results be released earlier?
No, the promotion results will continue to be released based on our WAPS eligibility table. So it is going to be for the 1989 in December. Results are going to be available in December.
We have a question here on our webcast. Do supplemental selects count against the career field's minimum or maximum number of selects?
No, they do not count against the career field's minimum or maximum number of selects.
Question from Facebook Live. When members are in the gray area, who is scoring or rescoring those records? The same panel members that did the initial order of merit will have those records returned to them for another round of scoring, and they will continue to score those records until the gray is resolved and we have a final select, non-select. Jose, we see a question in the chat room. Can you help us understand how the whole person concept is weighted? What factors hold primacy, deployments, combat experience, education? The whole person concept is just as it's described. No particular factor is assigned a point value by the board members. The chief of staff charged the board members to weigh all of the factors under the whole person concept and then come up with an evaluation score. So not one single factor should be a pass-fail item, and all items in an individual's record should contribute to their total score. Thank you for the question.
We have another question here in our chat room. When a senior NCO select declines to strip, what happens to that stripe? There are a lot of rumors out there whether this is just a wasted stripe or if it goes to the number one non-select. We'll have our enlisted promotions team answer that for you.
When a stripe is declined, it does not go to the number one non-select.
All right, another question here.
I see a question on the Facebook page. I have heard that being boarded under the supplemental board is somewhat harder at scoring because you are being graded against supplemental members only versus the entire career field. Is this an accurate statement? No, it's not. In fact, the goal of the supplemental process is to recreate the exact competition level from the original board. As Captain Jones described in her briefing, the benchmark records are selected from right at the cut line of the original board. So the competition is identical at the supplemental board as it is at the central or promotion board. Thanks for the question.
All right, we have time for a couple more questions. We have a question here. Will the boards be providing feedback to the members' record?
We have, there's an initiative underway. When the Air Force announced that we were going from evaluation to promotion boards, they also announced the possibility of having the boards provide more in-depth feedback to the eligibles. That initiative is under study at the Air Staff, and at this time we don't have anything further to report here at AFPC, but we'll be sure to mention it in future webcasts.
All righty, that's all we have time for today. We thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.